hindsight again. So if I could do this all over again, once I got to, well, I would do it earlier than junior, but specifically a couple years before junior, I was the guy that was the MVP of the tournament most times. I was the guy that scored the goals.
In like minor hockey,
youth hockey? Youth hockey. I was the high draft pick. I was getting all the interviews. I was played for Team Ontario, U17, all that kind of stuff. I was in the same. Not that I'm saying we're the same player, but the draft class that I was in was like Brian Fogarty, Brendan Shanahan, Luke Richardson, those guys, right? Mm-hmm. So that's Brian March, but that was my draft class. Adam Graves. So and I was in that mix. Okay. So the first thing I would want to understand is the long game. This is one thing that I really wish I would have understood, because, and I'm not saying like I feel like I was a very hard worker, but was I a hard worker because I was good? And was I working as hard as I possibly could? Because who would have known the difference? Does that make sense?
Let me just. So you're saying, was it that I was just really good, or was it that I worked hard
and liked to do the hockey?
Yeah, like if the hard work is easy, is it hard work?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Right. So, and I don't know the answer because I did go for runs. I did you know what I mean? I shot pucks a lot. I practiced. It was always hockey, but was it because it was fun? I would do my running. I would do my, working out as best as I knew as a youngster. But so that's one thing. Did I work as hard as I could, or did I do the work because I was having fun? And either way, it could be good, right? But I don't know if I sat there and said, okay, this guy is doing more than me, so I need to do more than him. I don't know if I had that. Like I'm not saying I didn't or I did. I don't know, because maybe I wasn't aware, right? So that's the one. So talent, the talent was there, the skill was there, the love of the game was there. Okay, but the long game was like, so you're good at 15, 16, or 14. I really, if I can go back, I would do more to understand that it doesn't matter right now. Like it meant like one of my biggest goals was making the under 17 team. I was a young kid making Team Ontario under 17, and I did. And it was almost like I got drafted. I was a high draft pick as an underage. I played as an underage, but it was almost like that was my goal. And looking back, like that was my biggest goal. Why was it my biggest goal? Because the year before was the first time they ever had the World Challenge Cup. And it was real notoriety and stuff. And so that was almost like the goal. And I wanted to play in the NHL, but this was the goal. If I can do that, then it just keeps moving forward. So I hit that goal, and it was almost like, okay, you did that. And it was like, but that's such a short-term goal, because at the time of the tournament, I was still only 16 years old. Mm-hmm. So now is it over?
Well, here's maybe something that's kind of on a related note. When you could sharpen this up for me, actually. When kids have their OHL interviews, I think one of the questions they ask is, do you want to play in the NHL?
Yeah, some do.
And
or they go, what's your goal?
What's your goal?
What's your plan A, or do you have a plan B? Like variations of that several times. Yes. Sorry.
So on that thread, it's like, as the kid coming up, is your goal to play in the OHL, or is your goal to play in the NHL? Because that is a way different goal.
Yeah, because now when you're focused on, if you, and that's why I say to all my kids, and I want them to answer it sincerely. Like, do you want to play in the OHL, and why? Well, the why should be because I want to get to the National Hockey League. Because if I'm a general manager and I hear, I want to play in the OHL so I can get my school paid for, that's good, but it's not commitment, right? It's like, what is it? Who's more committed, a chicken or a pig? All a chicken has to do is lay an egg. He keeps living. A pig's got to die if you want bacon.
Yeah.
So your commitment is a lot bigger if you want to get to the highest level.
So do you feel like from your perspective, you said you wanted to play in the NHL, and that was a goal, but do you think it was almost like you kind of didn't plan past the OHL almost? Like you thought past it, but you didn't plan.
1,000%. I was working. So okay, so let's stay into this for a second, right? So long term is like, no one told me what, like, it was about getting, so I get drafted and I want to play. So I'm in the OHL and I'm at the under 17 and stuff. And my biggest concern was right now. So this was what I'm talking about, the long term. I was like, why am I not like a little baby, but like, I want to get on the power play. I want more ice. I'm 16 and I'm less than 5'10" in a jungle. That takes time to acclimate to and to get good at, and to get tough enough, and all those different things, get strong enough. So in my head, I'm like, I just need to do something tomorrow to get in tomorrow, and it consumed me. Now, if I had the long game in hand, I would sit there, or have a dad like you or me or something like that that says, okay, son, like, what's the end goal here? Do you want to play for the Sudbury Wolves or the Hamilton Steelhawks? Is that what you want? Yes. Anything else? Yes, I want to play in the NHL. Okay, so let's have an action plan. Not that it's written out day to day or anything, but the long-term goals, don't sacrifice anything. Like, even if you had to go to junior B for half the year or whatever to make yourself better, like, even though that's a kick in the teeth with a fist, even though that's a kick in the teeth to your ego, long term, it may be the best thing for you. Right? So it's like making those decisions as you're playing, not for the short-term game or the short-term ego boost, or not to get your ego deflated. It's to make an intelligent decision on what's going to be better for you in 7 years or 6 years or 5.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Oh man, that's such a hard thing to get.
This is really hard. So whose ego are we? And so it's not just your own ego now, right? If you have a mom and dad, which I did, and I'm not saying anything bad about them, but it's like they wanted it now. They didn't know any difference. What does it take? You're a good hockey. You're one of the best hockey players around ever. So, like, you should get your stuff now. It's like, no, it should have been set back and said, okay, what do we need to do? How do you get better? You're not the tallest guy, so you need to maybe be really strong. So the working out and the eating might be a thing. Maybe your skating needs to be better, or your shot needs to be better, or your aware, like, not that they would know, but it's figuring things out or putting in place where you can have a long-term plan. So like, it would be, so when you go to your first year of junior, or if you're in midget or bantam or whatever it is, and you're playing and things aren't going your way, it's like, okay, what's my long-term plan? So for some kids, it might be, my long-term plan is to play junior B hockey. That's fine. If it might be to play college hockey and get your school paid for, that's fine. It's still the long game that you're looking for. So that would be the number one thing that came to my mind when I started doing this, would be that. And then, because it's not what happens before 18 that matters, but what does matter before you're 18 is the habits that you develop over the years. That's the most important thing, so that you understand that it's long-term thinking. The short-term is, it's just, you get through those things, you work hard, but you're making baby steps of progress every day, every week, every month, or something like that, so that at the end of the year you could say, all right, I was 150 pounds and I worked out really hard, and I'm now 155 pounds and I'm in good shape though, and my shot's gotten better or more accurate or whatever that you can say. I measured something and it's better. I'm a better player now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we talk about just one thing I want to clarify, because we talk about staying in the moment, to focus on the task at hand that you're doing, to make sure that you're not too far in the future, too in the past. We talked about mental toughness stuff before in a bunch of episodes, and it's like, you can still do that when you're playing your game, right? That's when we're in the moment. We're focusing on the moment,
1,000%.
whatever.
And I'm going to get into that after.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm just making the clarification that you can still do that while having that bigger perspective of, my ultimate goal is to be in this place. So it's, on the one hand, when you're doing your tasks, we're focusing on right now, but on the other hand, you still need to have that framework to help guide you more long-term, like you're talking about, right? You need to still have some kind of a long-term plan, as whatever a plan means, to make sure that you're staying on track. And it's not just about today. It's about today. It's about today when you're trying to complete the thing you're doing right now. But when you go home and you're in your bed at night thinking about it, what is guiding you? What framework is guiding you? You know?
So you can say, I want to play in the NHL. That's my end goal. But you can't control that, because that's 5 years away or 10 years away. What you can control is Right now, I'm up. Right now, I could do something productive and make myself better. When I'm on the ice, I can focus on my shift. Blah blah blah. It's like it's it being in the moment.
Exactly. So I just want to try to clarify that a
no,
little bit.
that's awesome. I'm glad you did.